Hey guys, my name is Nexus, and this is Powerslaves demo, made by pbucko, August 7th, 2000. You may have noticed that I have skipped the docs. To put it briefly, it got a 1 silver rating, and that's only half a silver more than the Thief 1 version. I looked through it a bit, and to be quite honest, it wasn't very different. The lighting was probably the biggest difference. There were a few new textures, but it's not as big a difference as the difference between Ranstel Keep was. There's no new areas added, loot placements are the same, so I didn't want to, go with that and just do it again, so I'm skipping it. Powerslaves, on the other hand, is entirely about Iron Maiden. And, yeah, we'll get to it, so moving on. Okay guys, here's normal, hard, and expert. They are all the same. Now, those of you who know about Iron Maiden may have noticed that it said that the museum is on Acacia Avenue. Those of you who are not familiar with Iron Maiden, that is a song in one of their albums, 22 Acacia Avenue. My boyfriend is actually a pretty big fan of Iron Maiden, so I've asked for his help in documenting which of the songs were which. For the ones that didn't, I couldn't figure out. This is called The Sanctuary, by the way, which I think is another song. For the ones that we couldn't figure out, we turned to my roommate, who has an iPhone with Shazam, which is an app which identifies music when it's played. So that said, there's a couple interesting things going on with this mission in terms of that. I'm not going to be able to do what it intends. This is a museum. It's a music museum. You're intended to play a soundbite of the song ranging from somewhere between 5 and 10 seconds. Unfortunately, due to YouTube changes, it is a really bad idea for me to play even these kind of small snippets of songs. If an app on an iPhone can identify the song, YouTube's algorithm is going to be able to, and I'm going to get flagged for copyright violations up the wazoo. So rather than deal with that, I'm just going to tell you which ones hopefully match up. I'm not going to test them, but I can tell you precisely, because I was able to get into the actual files and look at the sounds and take those bite by bite, but I don't know which ones they match up to in terms of which button plays which song. But I'll guess, because I do know roughly which albums they're from, and this lists their album and not the song name, so there are 3 songs that I don't know, but have a couple educated guesses on. So this one, Brave New World, 2000 album, this came out, maybe a few months before this mission did. The song from this is The Mercenary. It's not a particularly popular song. It's kind of one of the songs that's not iconic, really. There's a couple iconic songs, of course, but most of the little, whatchamacallits, gramophones aren't playing iconic songs from Iron Maiden. They're actually playing, like, sort of lesser known or lesser liked songs, which is kind of funny. So this was from Iron Maiden's debut album, which in the UK was 1980 and not 81, so there's kind of some interesting thing going on there with this. By the way, this has no rating on the circle. The song from this was Remember Tomorrow. This is the Killers album, 1981, and the song from this, we're not sure. We couldn't figure out in a consensus between any of the 3 people I've asked. So the consensus is that this isn't a very good quality sound from this album. It sounds like it might be a live version of Murders in the Rue Morgue or potentially Phantom of the Opera. So again, lesser known, lesser liked songs, and not to mention it's a live version or a very bad rip of one. So this is the Number of the Beast, 1982 album. The one from this, of course, is 22 Acacia Avenue. Now then, this one is Peace of Mind, 1983 album. The song from this is Revelations. Again, a lesser known album. Fine, I'll go to this. This is, which album is this? Powerslave. Makes sense. I have to actually press that button to continue on with this, but we'll get to that. So, that said, we have Live After Death 1985, which isn't represented in my list. So, I'm not actually sure. So I'm not actually sure which song is supposed to be here. And that's very interesting. This is definitely a live album, though, and is probably the track labeled GARE0903. It's part of the naming system of sounds. The only thing we could get from it was that it was a bad rip from a live album, and we've got no idea what it is, because it's just very garbled. So then we've got this one, Somewhere in Time, 1986. In this case, it is the title feature, Caught Somewhere in Time. And then we have, of course, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, 1988. The track in question is The Evil That Men Do, which is, again, not a title song, lesser known, lesser liked. This is No Prayer for the Dying, 1990. The song from this is Mother Russia. Again, another sort of niche song. This is from Fear of the Dark, 1992 album. We have no idea, is kind of what that boils down to. To be honest, we didn't think that there was a song from Fear in the Dark in this album. The way it worked is, let's see, I covered everything but that one. I have to look at my list again of songs. Yeah. So this one we think might be some kind of version of The Trooper, or it might be the garbled one that I was talking about that sounded like it was from a live album, or the one that we think might be Murders in the Rue Morgue. One of those three is apparently from Fear in the Dark, or Fear of the Dark. So, with that said, there is apparently something from Fear in the Dark, or Fear of the Dark, dang it. I'm gonna stop talking now and just keep going, because I'm getting tired of this. We have an interesting little secret here. And we have a song playing right now. We got a precursor mask. The thing you're hearing in the background, I don't actually know what that is. I think it's just something about Eddie. I'm not sure. In fact, we can hear a zombie right now. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, it's Eddie. In fact, he is listening to a lovely song, which I'm probably going to have to bleep out. Excuse me, Eddie. Yep, I'm gonna have to cut that out. That's the Powerslave recording. It's Aces High from 1984. So yeah, a lot of interesting things here, but not too much of it. We have this nice little graveyard. That is not dead which can eternal lie, yet with stranger eons even death may die. H.P. Lovecraft. Here lies Edward T. Head. RIP. So, yeah, we saved the Powerslave recording, we get to exit now, and end the mission, because that's just kind of how this works. Alright, so since you don't have to listen to every recording, I don't even have to try and play them. But just to give a quick run through of what we could figure out were the songs in this mission. It was Remember Tomorrow from the Iron Maiden 1980 edition, 22 Acacia Avenue from Number of the Beast, Revelations from Peace of Mind, Aces High from Powerslave, Caught Somewhere in Time from Somewhere in Mind. Wow, did I put Somewhere in Mind or... Wow, now I have no idea what that album is. I apologize for that. I put Somewhere in Mind, but I think it's actually Somewhere in Time. Wow, okay. The Evil That Men Do from Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, Mother Russia from No Prayer for the Dying, and The Mercenary from Brave New World. 3 songs that we did not recognize, which was, of course, potentially a live version of The Trooper, some kind of early album, bad rip that was potentially live that we thought might have been Murders in the Rue Morgue or Phantom of the Opera, and then another one which was a bad rip and we have honestly no clue what it's from. So that said, the ones that were not necessarily there was something from the Killers album, Fear of the Dark, X Factor, and Virtual XI, all of which were available in 2000. We think that the Killers and Fear of the Dark are in this mission, but we don't know which songs they are. They're not the title songs, and they're not the more popular songs. So I'm not really sure what the point of this mission was. It just kind of exists. So, that said, I will see you guys next time.